So, I have been a chef for around 4 years now, working in a lot of different environments. About 6 months ago, I started in my current job, which is a private restaurant for a senior apartment complex. I am the only chef working there 100%. Other chefs only come in when I have a day off. We serve a lunch menu between 12 o'clock and 13 o'clock, and a two-course dinner at 17 o'clock. I start at 10 o'clock and finish at 18 o'clock, so I am pretty busy all day between prepping, serving lunch, cleaning, ordering, taking deliveries, dinner, and closing down. One of my coworkers, who is in charge of marketing, has been asking for staff food after lunch hours are finished. I always serve staff food for everyone who orders, given they order either before or during the lunch service. 3 days ago, she asked for a cinnamon bun, which was a dessert for the dinner that day. I told her no and explained that I only make the amount needed for the guests, but that she could have one after dinner service if there were any left. She said she only wants one if she can have it now, and pretty much left it at that. Yesterday, she came 1 hour after lunch and asked for a couple slices of bread and some salad. I told her no, because all the bread I had was frozen at the time. She then asked for a croissant, to which I informed her that all of them were sold during lunch. She proceeded to go home for the rest of the day after telling another coworker that she cannot get any food here. Then today, she comes into the kitchen 5 minutes after lunch, while I am running to clean up everything so I can start on the rest of the prep before dinner. She starts, "I will have some eggs and bacon." I tell her, "Sorry, but lunch is over for today." She raises her voice at me and says, "Do you have something against me?" Still running to clean up and pretty shocked, I say, "Against you? No. I've been doing lunch for the last hour." She proceeds to angrily walk up to the manager and tell her about how I am denying her lunch. Manager says I should be flexible and look for solutions instead of denying requests. I probably could have toasted some bread to defrost it on the second occurrence, but I had already worked my rear end off that day and did not want to fix problems for people who cannot follow lunch times. So, am I the rear end?
My husband, who is 38 years old, and I, who am 37 years old, have two young children, a 2-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. The issue we've been fighting about lately is how much time each of us gets for our hobbies and personal time. Over the past 5 weekends, he spent 4 half or full weekend days doing something related to fishing or hunting. He's also going on a 4-day deer hunting trip in a few weekends. In July, he went on a week-long fishing trip to Canada from Saturday to Saturday. Throughout the rest of the year, he goes fishing for a full day once a month. He uses a lot of his paid time off for this, which means I will have to take care of the kids solo over winter break. Meanwhile, my hobbies are a workout class 1 to 2 times a month, and a monthly book club, which is usually a weekday night. I also work a demanding job and travel for work, so I already feel guilty being away. To me, that's a lot of time, especially when I'm home with one or both kids. Sometimes he will bring my son fishing with him, but even then, he's gone all day, which means that we don't get to have much of a fun weekend doing family stuff. When I brought this up, he got really defensive and said I don't want him to do the things he likes and that he doesn't get enough time for himself. But from my perspective, it feels like he has plenty and his expectations are too high for how much time you get to spend on yourself as a parent of young kids. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to scale back a bit on his hobbies? If not, give me some suggestions for new hobbies that will take me out of the house for full days. Additional information. Many questions have been asked about how much I travel. I have scaled back my travel since having children and usually go on 3 trips a month, but I try and make them day trips even though they are grueling for me. So in an average month, I'm gone maybe 4 to 5 days and 1 overnight. He also travels for work every other month and is gone 3 to 4 days. We both took big international trips this year for work. So yes, he has a slightly higher burden, but it's not one-sided. And in terms of going with him, he doesn't want to bring our 2-year-old daughter fishing on his boat, so I have to stay home with her. We do all go fishing as a family at local lakes fairly frequently.
Convergence errors adjusting. Normalization parameters adjusting. Here's the normalized story, adhering to all your requirements. Quick backstory. My fiancé, a 33-year-old male, and I, a 29-year-old female, are getting married in September 2026. Our friends Stan, a 34-year-old male, and Zoe, a 33-year-old female, just got married May 25th. We asked Stan and Zoe to be our best man and maid of honor, and they both said yes. In June, my maid of honor calls and says she cannot be my maid of honor anymore due to some health issues. She also has to avoid stress and isn't sure if she'd be able to handle the wedding planning and her own medical bills. I told her that if she still wants to be included or be a bridesmaid, to keep me posted. August 7th, I asked my sister to be my new maid of honor. The end of August, I check in with Zoe. She responds with, "The procedure went well. I am still waiting on the official results, but the nurse said things looked good, so I am optimistic." I heard nothing after that and got my last bridesmaid in September. November 4th, Stan and Zoe reach out asking if Zoe is a bridesmaid. I said, "I already have my bridal party. We wanted you to take a break for your health. You're more than invited to all the events so you can just have fun and don't have to worry about planning." Zoe's response, "Well, I appreciate you considering my health. I am extremely hurt that you couldn't just text me. I don't even know how to process our relationship. I would have never done this to you." My fiancé says the four of us need to meet up to discuss this. We wanted to talk in person. Stan argues that they want to talk over the phone. We live in the same neighborhood and pass their house every morning to take our dog on a walk. Finally, Stan responds by saying, "You don't see just how hurt Zoe and I are by all of this. We have decided to cut ties with both of you." We have not spoken since. Am I the asshole? In summary, my maid of honor backed out of my wedding due to health reasons. After not hearing any updates, I failed my bridal party. She flipped out because she wasn't included. Now, her husband and her aren't friends with us.
Throwaway account because you never know. I, a 30-year-old female, and my husband, a 36-year-old male, are expecting our first child in the new year. It will also be the first grandchild for both of our families. Both sets of grandparents are incredibly excited, but because my parents live a 2-hour flight away, they're pretty low maintenance. My husband's parents can be very intrusive. It's been a difficult road setting boundaries with them and have them be respected. This isn't to take away from the fact that they are very kind-hearted people who want the best for us, but we've had some issues with boundaries in the past. For example, my mother-in-law used to call my husband irate and crying to act as a mediator whenever my mother-in-law and father-in-law would have a fight. She wanted my husband to stay on the phone for hours talking with both of them. These calls would happen any time of day and last hours. I feel strongly it's inappropriate to involve your children in your conflict so intimately and is incredibly emotionally taxing for my husband. Eventually, after a few discussions between my husband and I, we decided it would be healthiest for these calls to stop. So when he would get a call with my mother-in-law crying, he'd stop engaging, and eventually she took the hint, and these calls stopped pretty much altogether. One small boundary that's been very difficult is my mother-in-law keeps buying decor for our home as gifts. Her and I have very different tastes, and while I appreciate her thinking of us, they are not things I think work with the aesthetic of our home. She's also incredibly sentimental, to the point where she has kept every single toy, piece of schoolwork, test, trophy, etc. Essentially anything he's ever touched, she has kept in his childhood home. Now that we are expecting and starting to decorate our nursery, the two worlds of her sentimentality and need to decorate my home are colliding. She wants us to hang some items she handmade for my husband's nursery in our baby's future nursery. While the idea could be cute, my husband has no recollection of these items. They don't fit the theme or decor of my nursery, and, respectfully, I think they're tacky. It's decor from a different time and doesn't fit my vision for my baby's nursery. The items are not small and are not subtle. Am I the asshole for not wanting these items in my home, or am I being overly sensitive due to our history and my hormones?
Today was my 16th birthday, and I, a 16-year-old female, find it stressful to open gifts in front of my family because I am unable to express the level of excitement they anticipate. This issue arises annually. They expect me to jump up and down and cry tears of joy, but my reactions never seem to be intense enough for their liking. My mother in particular always insists on filming the birthday celebrations to share on Facebook. She becomes upset when everyone fails to sing happy birthday in perfect harmony, which often leads to heated arguments with my father. As expected, the situation unfolded once again. My father grew angry as my mother demanded that everyone repeatedly sing the birthday song, causing the candles to melt and drip onto the cake. Eventually, he stormed off before I even had the chance to open my presents. When I opened the gift from my mother, I discovered it was a waxing kit for removing leg hair. The thing is, I do not even shave my legs, so I tried to be polite and said, "Oh, this is such an interesting gift. How did you come up with this idea?" She was filming my reaction to post on Facebook, and because I did not display enough enthusiasm, she became upset and retorted, "What, you do not like it? I will just take it back then." I replied, trying to sound curious, "No, I'm just wondering what made you decide to choose this gift." At that moment, she switched off the camera and began sobbing dramatically, muttering to herself, "How did I raise a daughter like this?" Regrettably, this scenario plays out every year. I questioned her about why she always feels the need to cry and spoil the occasion. In response, she declared, "I guess I'm just the worst mom ever then," before walking away.
I, a 22-year-old male, reconnected with my brothers, a 25-year-old male and the 20-year-old male, about 7 months ago. We were born from the same parents, a 47-year-old female and a 50-year-old male, but when I was around 4, my parents divorced. Until I was about 13, I thought my father was dead. My mother told me and my brothers that he died while fishing on a boat and his body could not be recovered, but the truth is that they split up and he moved to London. When I was around 7, my mom sent my brothers to live with my aunt because she said they were difficult. She told me that I behaved so I could stay. She kind of disconnected from my aunt around that time, so I grew up isolated, and they grew up motherless and fatherless. So when I reconnected with them, it was my effort. I felt like I needed that connection. My older brother is cool with me, but my youngest brother is not. I can tell he tried, but he is not feeling me. Last night, me and my youngest brother got in a heated argument where he told me I was a spoiled brat and I was weak. It started from me not wanting to smoke weed with them. I asked him how, and he went off about me going to a private school, getting a car at 16, being in medical school currently, and most of all, growing up with my mother. I do not usually argue, but I told him that I am as unfortunate as him. My mother had countless mental health crises and would degrade me when I was younger for trusting people because all they would do is hurt me and being so sensitive. Because of that, I had little to no friends, and she also ran all my girlfriends away once I started dating at 17. But she did have money, and my aunt did not have as much. I understand his frustration. He did not reconnect with my dad until 3 years ago, so he basically grew up without his father and his mother. He also has a juvenile record, probably due to misplaced anger. But him and my mom are mostly cool now, and he seems to wholeheartedly forgive her. I just wonder why he does not forgive me. My oldest brother tries to be a mediator, but he mostly sides with my younger brother. Given his circumstances, am I the asshole for telling him that? I do not want to be the insensitive older brother that grew up with money and love from my mother some of the time, but it is better than none of the time, so I will apologize if I was exactly that.
I had a baby 5 weeks ago, on September 29th. I shared pictures with my parents the day of, and they posted them on Facebook within 24 hours. I also posted pictures a couple of days later. My 28-year-old sister liked all of them. On October 11th, I get the following text message. "What the heck? You haven't sent the picture of the baby to your sister." I was pretty irritated at the "what the heck" usage and opted to not respond. Yesterday, I get the following text. "I understand my dad reached out to you yesterday.
Could you please explain to me why you could send pictures of the baby to your cousin, but not your sister? What has your sister ever done to you, except go out of her way when she is here to visit? I find this unacceptable." My dad did call, and we had a pleasant catch-up, but he made no mention of any of this. I was super pissed with the tone of her message and decided to call her. I explained that I sent pictures to my cousin because he texted me saying congratulations and asked for some. I let her know that my sister liked all the photos on Facebook immediately and has not reached out to me to say congratulations or ask for photos. To which she said, "Well, your sister is going to school full-time and working full-time, so she's busy." I replied, "I just had a baby, so yes, I'm pretty busy and exhausted too." She started accusing me of having problems with my sister, which I never have. My parents have had a lot of problems with her. I'm just not close with my sister. I'm 10 years older than her, and we are at very different phases in our life. I reach out to her periodically and vice versa, but this is the first I've heard of us having an issue. I just find this whole thing really bizarre. I'm 5 weeks postpartum and really don't think coming at me like this, anytime, let alone now, is the way to handle this. I'm assuming, but it feels like my stepmom and sister made a huge issue out of nothing. My sister could have just sent me a text like my cousin did.